Alright, so it's about 8 o'clock on Tuesday, and I just woke up, and this is what I look like. And I gotta shower, get dressed, and go to co-op. Let's go for a ride.
Hello, sunshine. Hello, blue skies. Hello, lovely day. Hello, sunshine. Hello,
And now
sky.
I'm ready for co-op. Let's get to it. Now on my lunch period, I'm going on my commute to co-op, and this is what I have to do every time. So first I have to leave school and walk down this pathway. From this pathway I have to go into Empress Walk, and then I have to go into the subway station.
You just lead us up to me. I can show you my world. We can go through it all. You just leave it up to me. Take a trip to the stars. I can show you it all. You just leave it up to me. I can show you my world. We can go through it all. You just lead us up to me. Take a trip to the stars. I can show you it all. Yeah. Look at all this moolah. I got cash now. And a bunch of books in my lap now. All up in your face like a front page. Going through your place like a front gate. Gatorade, I sip it till I fade away. Mix it with the vodka, then I'm A-okay. Yeah, looking for that green, I wanna radiate. Then sail away like it's 1988. You just lead us up to me. I can show you my world. We can go through it all. You just leave it up to me. Take a trip to the stars. I can show you it all. You just leave it up to me.
Now sometimes before I have co-op, I like to come to the local pizzeria and just have a nice slice of pizza for lunch.
Show you my world. We can go through it all. You just lead us up to me. Take a trip to the stars. I can show you it all. Yeah. Don't nobody know while I'm on the road. All up in Japan, running it on my own. Hop off that phone, get it while I can. Picking up all them riches, I be digging for that gold. 24, yeah, now I'm ready for it. Drop that thing like I went smoking on the corner.
Okay guys, so today is the day I will be doing the video tour of my co-op placement. So we're just gonna walk around and see if anyone wants to talk to us. Oh, this is the waiting area of our legal office. And this is our receptionist, Cecilia. And then this is where the office begins. We have our kitchen to the left. We have a boardroom over here. We have our amazing accountant over here.
She would need a Google account to use the Hangouts like that.
This is the start of all the offices. So this is Zara's office. She looks to be busy. Let's not bother her. This is Daniel's office. He's not here either. Busy lawyers. This is my little desk that I've been given to work on. These two desks belong to the assistants to Jasmine. And right behind me, we have Jasmine's office. She's not here right now, but let's see if I can sneak a peek. That's what this is. Anyway, so a majority of my work, at least, takes place back here in the second part of the office. There's a few more desks here for the workers, 2 more offices for the lawyers. And then over here where I do most of my work is the scanning office. Just right here, there's just a scanner and a computer. And I usually sit there and do my work. And then back here is where some of the other students work. And then these are all just little cubicles for the students that are either articling or in university co-op. And it looks like no one's here today. I guess that's what happens when you film before the break. Oh, also, This is the office or cubicle of Jasmine's mom. She works here as well. Alright, so one of my tasks here is to scan documents from the original paper to their digital filing system. So the first thing I'll do is I'll go and I'll grab a correspondence folder, and within the correspondence folder there is a table of contacts, and from this I'll look at the first tab and it will say correspondence, so I know that it falls under that system. Once I go to that tab, I'll take out a document and I'll quickly scan over for any key terms. So this is what a typical document within the firm looks like. The first thing I do is look for the name to make sure it's in the right file. Then I skim over the document to try and find key terms that will help me organize it into the file. In the middle section, I can see it says Direction Authorization Form. So this lets me know it's a request form and it can be filed under correspondent. Then finally, I look at the bottom of the document to see if we've sent it out or if it was received. In this case, it says Jasmine Daya. So that lets me know that we were the ones who sent it out. So once I've identified what the document is and what it's describing, then I just simply put it into the machine and then it's ready to scan. So one of my other tasks in the firm is to fax and copy documents for clients. So the way I do that is I would first come in here and I would put in my code, and then from there I would come and I'll take the document, whatever it happens to be, and in this case I'm copying. So I would put it in here, the copier recognizes it, and then from there it's as simple as just pressing this button, allowing the machine to do the work. Say make a copy. Okay, so one of my other tasks here is to man the front desk and to help any clients that come in and to receive any incoming phone calls for the firm. Jasmine Daya Co, how can I help you? Please hold while I transfer you. So today is a special day for me because I'm at the North Reporting and Mediation Center at Young & Shepherd, and I'm going to be accompanying Jasmine on her mediation today. So this is special for me. I'm outside the office for once. It should be really fun. Alright, so it's the next day after my mediation with Jasmine, and for confidentiality reasons, I wasn't able to record anything that I saw or heard in there. But what I can say is that was a really good experience because it gave me a sense for what it's going to be like in the real world. How it worked was that we were in a boardroom with a big long desk, and on one end of the desk was a mediator. Now the mediator is a person who is a third party that comes into a case or a conflict to try and resolve it while remaining neutral on both sides. And so she would be on one side while Jasmine and her client would be on one side of the table, and the defense lawyer and the other client would be on the other end of the table. So how it worked was it first started with the mediator talking and explaining how it was gonna work and how the mediation would go about, and then it was Jasmine talking, and then it was the other side talking, and then the whole goal was to try and reach a settlement or an agreement without having to go to court and involve a judge and a jury. So this is going to be my personal reflection of my co-op experience until today. And I just want to say it's been really positive and really helpful for me. Obviously, the reason I took co-op was because I wanted to have some real-world experience in a profession that I was interested in, and I can say firmly that I've really gained that here. So here I've really seen what a lawyer's life looks like, their schedule, and just really the lifestyle that they live. I've seen that most of the work is independent, and that to progress you need to be able to have relationships with your fellow colleagues and lawyers, because you can't do it by yourself. Also, I can tell that this job isn't for everyone. It's a lot of long hours and a lot of hard work. Like, personally, I don't mind at all. I think it's going to be great. But I can see why some people choose other professions. So my favorite part about this whole co-op experience is by far the workers that are here with me. Everyone here is just really friendly and really easy to make a relationship with. And they're really fun people. They never make the job boring. They're always there to make it exciting and happy. And with all this said, I would really recommend co-op to any grade 10 student that's on the fence about it right now, because it really is a free way to test out what you're going to do in the future, or to test out what you're interested in the future. And you don't really get a lot of these opportunities anywhere else. You can go to college or university and spend all your money and then realize it's a profession you don't want to go into. Whilst here, you can do it for free, gain relationships and connections, and really, without having to spend a dime, figure out if what you're interested in is right for you. You require any special license, diploma, degree, certificate, which I guess would be your JD, your high school diploma, and anything else?
Okay, so to practice law in Ontario, you need either an LLB or a JD. So I actually possess an LLB. Queen's University, which is where I went to law school, had the LLB program, which is what common law jurisdictions have. It's the UK system. However, in recent years, after changes to programs like University of Toronto, Queen's University has changed to the JD, which is recognized in the US. When I was in law school, it was a big debate, the LLB JD, and everyone wanted a JD because it's Juris Doctorate. But it's not like I go around calling myself a doctor, and any lawyer that calls himself a doctor, people will laugh at. So, in the real world, I can trade in my LLB for a JD, but I just haven't because I have an LLB, so why should I change? But yes, you need your law degree, you need to do the articling, which is your 10 months, and then you need to write the bar exam. Now, the bar exam is actually a series of exams. When I was doing it in Ontario, we had 8 exams. They've changed it. There's now a barrister's exam and a solicitor's exam. And, you know, I don't know how helpful those are, but in any event, you've got to do those. And then you get called to the bar and you can be a lawyer.
How would a lawyer progress up the ranks or the ladder to a different position?
At this firm or generally?
Generally.
Really, it's hard work. Commitment and hard work is what's going to enable you to progress. Lawyers need lawyers to help. Everything is generally not done by one lawyer. One senior lawyer is not doing all the work. We need people to assist us. And so it's those individuals that work really hard and provide that assistance that are going to find that they move up the ranks, because people like me aren't going to want to let go of those people. So that's really what moves them up. You know, hard work will result usually in longevity in the position as well as increase in pay.
All right, cool. And just a brief history of the firm. I know you went over this with me one time, but that was a lot to take in.
Sure. So there's a lot of history behind this firm. This location was originally Jack Fireman's law firm. Jack Fireman was one of the best litigators in personal injury of his time, and they don't make them like that anymore. He was also able to get away with a lot of stuff that we also can't get away with. But it was a different generation, a different time, and he was definitely an incredible mentor and litigator. So I don't know how many years ago he graduated, I don't know, 50, 60, a long time ago. But he had been working as an insurance defense lawyer for many years. And then he decided to change sides because he got really upset with insurance companies for reasons that are beyond the scope of your project. But he got upset and he decided to flip sides and do plaintiff's work. So help the injured party instead of working for the insurer to not pay the injured party. And he worked for another firm, learned, I guess, the tricks of the trade, and then started his own firm. And so he started this firm in 2005 in this location. It was February 2005. I started articling here in October 2005. And at the time, it was a very small firm. There was Mr. Fireman, there was 2 other associates, and me. And I got called to the bar and was hired back. In fact, the day I left for my ceremony, he was asking everyone where I was because he needed me. And I appreciate that, you know, he was dependent on me at that point and needed me because that meant good things for me, but I was a little irritated because I only took a day off for my one day in a life ceremony, once in a lifetime opportunity, but he was not happy that day. He was and wasn't. Anyways, back to the office the next day. Most people took vacation. I did not. Why? Because I loved what I was doing, and I knew that he needed me. And so since then, I became an associate for him, and then I became a named partner of his firm, and then I became managing partner, and then soon after he decided to retire, and it was at that point where the firm split up, and I bought out my part of the firm, stayed in the same location that I've been at since 2005, and here we are.
Perfect. You actually answered my second question too. It was going to be, actually, why did you split?
So it's still a fair question because there were other partners in the firm, and for me, I had to think, as did all the partners. So when one partner retires, the rest of the partners have to decide, are we staying together? Are we going our separate ways? What should we do? So there's different types of partnerships, and our partnership was really much one main partner, which was Jack Fireman. And he had hired all of us and brought us all together. And he had sort of a more traditional mentality, which was in order to motivate us, instead of making us work together, which is more modern day thought, his thought was, let's pit them against each other to motivate them to one-up each other and do better. I don't fault him for it, it's just not my business model. But because for years we've been adversaries almost within the same office, trying to always do better than the other, we were not really friends, we weren't close, we were all just sort of working in the same firm. And so he was sort of the glue that held us together. There was not really much camaraderie for us to stay together, so we all sort of decided to go our separate ways.
Apologies, but my last question was just going to be, within the firm, do you do any health and safety, not necessarily training, but any just, don't do this, don't do that?
Yeah, I really don't want the binders to fall on my staff. I think that could injure them. Stapler also can cause some injury. I don't know, the photocopier, no. In all seriousness, we don't really have any health and safety training because it's sort of, it's an office environment and everyone's adults here, so they generally know, what machinery could cause issues, but there isn't too many issues that could be caused by the machinery we have on site. It's all really basic office equipment. The one thing that we do have, we're in a great building, and the building ensures that we have fire safety down. So we have a fire warden in the office who is responsible for making sure that we all get out of the building safely in case of emergency. And I think that's really important. And we try to tell people to take it seriously because there was actually a fire next door. I think it was a couple of years ago, and I was out in Kitchener at a proceeding, and it was the Badminton and Racket Club was up in flames, and the whole area was on lockdown. And in fact, our building, the fumes were coming in through the ventilation which caused a little bit of a hazard. And because I was managing partner at the time, I got a message, a text, and I turned on, I was streaming the news on my computer because I was at a proceeding and not able to watch anywhere else, and saw what was going on, and I made the decision to shut the office down. I think it was around 1 o'clock or noon or something like that. You know, some of my partners at the time were saying there was no reason for me to shut it down, but I said there's fumes coming through the ventilation, and you know, God forbid anyone has any breathing issues. We also don't know how contained the fire is going to be. I think it's better to be safe than sorry and err on the side of caution. Nobody was working anyway. Everyone was sort of staring out the window from what I was told or watching the news. So I think I made the right call in that regard, but thankfully aside from that big fire, we haven't had any major issues here in Touchwood.
Alright, that's perfect, and that's all.
Okay.
It's been helpful actually for my assignments.